Good afternoon at YouTube. This is kind of like a vlog, but I finally today got my Wild Unknown Tarot. So I guess this is another reveal like the other day that I had. But it's Sunday. It's I think one of the last days of the hot weather here in Western Virginia. But enough with that. But I finally got my Wild Unknown Tarot in the mail, and I'm definitely excited. I was looking at some of the images and stuff. I kind of have a history about this card deck. The history that I have with this card deck is that I wasn't sure about getting it for the longest time because it was all over the internet and stuff like that, and I'm not so keen about getting the fan favorite stuff, but I see why, now that I've looked at the images, why it was such a big favorite amongst a lot of people, and a lot of the big names in the tarot world. People, too. Enough with that. Also, I'll show you some of the cards. I'll do a more in-depth study with this, I believe, because some of the imagery is unbelievable with these cards. Let me show you some of my favorites. Fool I'm not so crazy about in this deck, although I understood the symbolism behind it. I like the Jaguar's Magician. High Priestess with the Lion. Tiger. It's a tiger. I do think it was an interesting aspect to have the God and Goddess, or the Emperor and the Empress, as the Moon and the Sun. There's a lot of symbology with that I could talk about, and there's a lot of juicy symbology in this deck. They said that they were out of stock in some time when I bought this deck. This is an image that a lot of people like. But there's a lot of good symbology in here. Juicy symbology, too. And I've actually been looking at this symbology, and I've said I've seen this kind of similar card in another deck from this deck. For an example, not that one, but I think like the Mary L. Tarot, they had like the owl, the man riding on an owl with the swords, and this deck it has the Son of Swords riding with a, as an owl, and I thought that was an interesting aspect that they've seemed to combine some of the other decks into this deck, and that's another thing that I like. Ironic. There are some cards that I'm not crazy about, and other cards I am totally intrigued by why she chose the symbolism. Like, I didn't buy the guidebook, by the way, with this deck, because I have no money to buy the guidebook. But, I'm very curious about temperance. I know what temperance is, but I never seen temperance as an egret or a water bird. And growing up in South Florida, you would see these birds crossing the road all the freaking time. And it's kind of intriguing to me to see it as an egret. I don't quite understand the go, but I get it. Tower is cool. I love the star. It's very cool. I was actually surprised about the matted, not really the matted finish, but the finish of these cards too when I got them, because they're not like a matte finish. I was looking at reviewing these decks online and all that stuff, and I would have thought that this would have been a matte finish deck, like where it's a kind of a matted material, but this is more glossy than I thought it would, and it's a lot, I would say, comparable to my, what is it, the John Waterhouse Oracle that I got. I saw Al Moon have it, and she was describing how much she's been using it and stuff, and I said, I gotta have that too. If you're describing something that I am going to use or need, I'm going to have it. I've been doing something different with my readings too. I've been doing more readings personally with ruins with the tarot cards. I've been reading my tarot cards with ruins. And, I just, I wanted a tarot card that's more compatible with my ruins, and I thought of this deck, and I just said, you know, the simple imageries in this deck is all over the place. It's very beautiful, but I wonder if it would be compatible with the ruins. And I sat down and thought of the images and just said, you know, ruins would work well with this deck. Why not? It's the images are simplistic, and it's very spiritual. I do believe that the images have some very deep spiritual meanings more than the Rider-Waite deck, the traditional Rider-Waite, I mean. Like this card, in the same kind of card, in, what was it, the Shadowscapes Tarot, was another spider with, like, the pentacles, and the spider was doing the spider web, like this. So there is a lot of similarities with other decks that I'm seeing in this card deck that I've never thought of before. I've got bugs all over me too, so if you see me twitching and stuff, it's bugs. I was not very pleased with this. I don't know. It's not that I'm not pleased. If you haven't noticed already, I'm always fascinated by the Son of Pentacles representing my husband and symbolizing my husband in my life. Whenever this shows up, it usually means that there's a matter of the heart with my husband. But I do think this deck is completely fascinating to me. Symbolistically is very fascinating. I kind of want to do a review with this deck, but I feel like I have to work with this a little bit more. What is some of my favorite images in here? I could rattle on all day about the topics and stuff, but I'll show you some of my favorite images. I think the sword suits is a little darker for my liking, but maybe that's something I need to heal in myself more than anything else. Maggots. Icky kind of card for me. And this one is kind of irking too. And this one kind of makes me sad for that cow. Daughter of Swords is very beautiful in this deck. I love that. But yes, the Son of Swords, this is what I was talking about. The Mary L. Tarot, there was a rider on an owl, and he had a sword in his hands, and this says the Son of Swords doing that too. So there's very similar symbolisms in this deck. I love that one. I can't get over that one. I think the fact that the snakes are the wands court suits is very interesting. The deer is the pentacles, and the swans are for the cups. I'm not understanding swans for cups, but it's okay because I view swans as a very harsh animal, not very nice. I kind of like the horse here. This was my absolute favorite card in the whole entire deck. I love how the tree roots are that. But yeah, I'm going to have to read with these cards and actually use these cards because this is absolutely fascinating. I can't believe I waited this long to get this deck. It's been completely like 2 years since it came out. But I've just, I almost got it this past summer, earlier this summer, but the problem with earlier this summer is I was going through a marriage and a phase of moving out of my home and my home being ripped from me. And so it was not a good time to be introduced to anything darker or darker themed or even any kind of spiritual well, I should have been practicing more. I did practice my spiritual self, but I was going through rough times in my life, along with other things with finances and stuff, so it was not an easy decision to get this deck later, but I just said, until I'm spiritually ready, I don't need this deck in my life. I don't need another expensive card deck in my life. But I'm glad I got it now because I'm looking at this imagery and I cannot get over them. I really can. I do feel like this might be my replacement deck for my Mary L. Tarot for a little while. I don't know if I could go that far yet. I haven't worked with the deck, but I'm almost feeling like this might be my next personal deck. My next go-to deck with client readings. My next deck with, you know, self-discovery and self things. I also didn't get called to get the guidebook in this deck too because I rather have my own interpretation and images of this deck than somebody else's influences. And plus I saw a lot of reviews on the guidebook. I like that. I saw a lot of people's other reviews and images of the guidebook, and I just said, you know what, first, I could see where she got her meanings and stuff, but I really don't need her influences on me about this tarot card deck. I just don't need her influences and outside opinions of this tarot card deck. I can just make up my own feelings and stuff about it. I think if you saw my my newer video, I was saying some stuff about that I'm on a spiritual pursuit for decks that are going to help heal me. Like, I've never been really a follower of the Lana Fairchild decks, although I'm feeling called now to get in a Lana Fairchild deck. I'll probably wait till October to get new decks because I got more decks that I could do reviews on and talk about and engage with you all about. This is just one of the many that I just acquired recently. I have more than enough decks to talk about for right now until at least October, and if not longer. So, my opinions about this deck on first impressions is that I'm not going to do a review of this deck until I feel absolutely comfortable with the cards and the imageries. And I don't know. I also feel like that I want to show other things to you all more about some of my other decks, because some of my other decks are just as fascinating as if I got an Alana Fairchild deck. So I'm not going to just go ahead and get a new deck as of this moment. I'm just going to stick with what I have and show you all what I've got. I got the Druidcraft Tarot that I could be reviewing. I got the Fallen Angels Tarot in part of my recent purchases, and that is a surprisingly accurate deck that I'll show you all. What else have I acquired in my collection that I should share? My Mary L. Tarot probably should share eventually, even though I keep talking about it. I think another one that I should be sharing probably should be my Llewellyn's Tarot. That was my go-to deck before I got into these obscure decks and stuff like that. I've been doing more Schaefer's Publishing. I got 2 Schaefer's Publishing decks, and I think that they're very good, which is the Mary L. Tarot, and there's one that is the Kabbalistic Visions Tarot. That one was a very hard one for me when I'm looking at through the images, because there's so many Kabbalah meanings and things like that in the images that I'm kind of lost by the symbolism, because I'm not too Kabbalah savvy, if that makes sense. I've not really studied the Kabbalah yet. I've known basic astrology and planets. I've really been taken off with the ruins and the tarot cards recently. So anything outside of tarot cards and ruins, I'm a little foreign to. So things like basic astrology, I know some basic fundamentals of astrology. I know some basic fundamentals of palmistry. I've known some basic fundamentals of this and that, but I'm not really mastering any of them. The only thing I've seemed to really master in my life is my tarot cards, which I'll show probably a sample reading of what I know about my ruins and my tarot cards. I probably will do a spliced video and try to point out some of the images and stuff. I would have to play on some video editing and things like that, but because I want to show you some of the things that I have and how I interpret some of these things. I think a tarot oracle did some of that kind of stuff too when he was teaching about doing his tarot courses and stuff. But then again, I'm rambling. But this is my vlogs, and probably going to be part of my vlog collection versus my tarot review collection, because I feel more free and stuff now to talk about vlogs than getting into more vlogging and stuff like that. I have a lot to vlog about in my life, and I feel like this is a very good, healthy outlet for me, because right now in my spiritual journey, I'm having a hard time having healthy outlooks. I'm having financial problems. I'm having time management problems. I feel like I have no time for anything, for anyone, or anything else. And that this is probably a healing for me to keep just vlogging, not really doing anything else. I'm just talking about what I know about my spiritual sides and my spirituality and what I can share with others. I think that's what I'm gonna keep doing, is my vlogging videos, vlog of spirituality and my tarot cards. And then probably interchange my tarot card videos and reviews with my vlog videos and stuff. So I'll keep you all updated on that kind of stuff. But if you like what I do and with my vlogging, but I don't care if people watch it or not. I just care if I'm being healed. This is a healing session for me and a sacred space for me, to just finally getting myself out there in the world. Probably show you some of my horses. I got horses that I've been tackling on in my life too, and they're a big part of my spiritual path right now. And a lot of things that has been going on in my spiritual path that I would love to talk to you all about. Other than that, I am done for the day. I'm just kind of rambling about some of my other things. So, I think those are the kind of things I'm going to tap on. I'm still probably going to do my 72 card, no, it was 78 card challenge course of, doing Rider-Waite revealed. I probably am still going to do that, don't get me wrong, but I just have things been coming up in my life, and that kind of been on the back burner, so it's a project that's still out there, and I'm still wanting to do. It's just it's just so hard to tackle it right now. Well, I will catch you all on the flip side, and you guys have a good day, and blessed be.